The second example we're going to look at is the equation y equals negative x plus 2. Now the constant, which is the y-intercept, is the number on its own, which is the 2. The coefficient, which will be the gradient, is the number in front of the x. Now there's no number written here, but we know there's an invisible 1 there, so the gradient is actually negative 1. Again, I can choose whatever values I want here. I'm going with simple -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Calculating our y using the equation by substituting our x's in. So we have -2. This is -1 multiplying -2, which gives me positive 2. And then I add 2, which will give me 4. When I put x as -1, I have -1 times -1, which is positive 1, plus 2, which is 3. Putting a 0 in, -1 times 0 is 0. Add 2 will give me 2. -1 times 1 is -1 plus 2, which gives me 1. And -1 times 2 is -2 plus 2 gives me 0. Remembering that across is my x-axis and up and down is my y-axis, I'm going to plot each of these points. Just labeling a couple of the numbers on my axes to get me started. Okay, so my first point is -2, 4. So this pair tells me that I've gone backwards on the x-axis by 2, but then I've gone up by 4. So starting the origin, I've gone back 2 and then up by 4. This point here, I've gone back 1 and up 3. This one I've gone across 0 and up 2. Here across 1, up 1. And this one across 2, but then not up and down, staying at 0. If you've done it correctly, these lines should form a nice straight line. So using a ruler, you want to connect them up. But we want to extend our line to the edges of our plane like this. Make sure you're putting arrows to show they indicate that the line keeps going, and label your graph with its equation. Now looking at this graph, is it increasing or decreasing? As I go from left to right on this line, it is going down. So it is a decreasing graph. Now hopefully you noticed a couple of other things about this graph. The y-intercept that we worked out up here, the constant, as we can see, that 2, that is where we are crossing our y-axis. We would have noticed the same thing in the last example, that our y-intercept here was -1 and our graph crossed at -1. Our gradient is our slope. The slope in this example was 2. And we were going up 2 and across 1. That was our gradient. In the second example, we have a gradient of -1. And if we look at our pattern, we are going down 1 across 1. There's our gradient.